You guys, I was not ready for this one. Picture this. Stephanie Jenkins is on TikTok casually talking about her cyst surgery like it's just another day, and then boom, right above her head, an open Trojan box is sitting there in plain sight. No, because what? I literally had to pause and rewind. The internet did not even need to zoom in. It was right there, loud and clear. And instantly, everyone had the same thought. If this is what she's accidentally showing us on camera, then what's really happening behind the scenes when no one's watching?
If you've ever felt useless, think that there's a box of, protection from the resilient Jenkins that they never use because they have about 12 kids living in a shoe. However, this is nasty work. Why would she? First of all, I know she's doing this for likes, clicks, and shares for attention, but you got my attention, baby girl. Stephanie Jenkins, you have my attention. And first of all, they're a waste because you keep having kids that you can't afford. Second of all, if you have them, how are you using them if you're living in a shoe with your kids right next to you? Like, that is so unfortunate. You have the baby on the floor now who's going to be able to sleep, I think, in a sandwich toast kind of thing that you bought for $100 when you could have bought her an actual bed, but I digress. You basically bought an unaliving mat for your daughter because if she sleeps there, it is there's so much risks associated with sleeping there. And why are you doing how? That's gross. I feel like she's flexing on people.
Let's rewind for a second because this part honestly gave me chills. The resilient Jenkins family has been crammed into a single motel room with their 5 kids. Yes, 5 little ones. All squeezed into one tiny space that's supposed to double as a bedroom, kitchen, and living room. Imagine that for a moment. No walls, no privacy, just pure chaos every single day. Stephanie has been documenting almost everything. Her health problems, the daily noise, the struggles of keeping 5 kids entertained in one room like it's content for the internet. But here's the thing. While she thought she was giving a raw, relatable glimpse into her life, she was actually showing us something else, something no one expected. Evidence of her and Drew's adult activities sitting right there in plain sight, in the exact same space where their kids eat, play, and try to sleep at night. And I don't know about you guys, but that makes the whole situation feel so much darker. At first glance, you'd think, okay, maybe it was nothing. Maybe just a random box they forgot to tuck away. But then you stop and look closer, and no, it wasn't tucked away. It wasn't dusty. It was wide open, which means it had been used recently. And that's the moment the chills really set in because suddenly your brain starts spinning with all the uncomfortable questions. When? Where? And how could 2 adults in a one-room motel with 5 children possibly be doing this? And here's the part that honestly made me pause and whisper, no way. Because this isn't just about intimacy, besties. This is about exposing young, impressionable kids to things they should never, ever have to see or hear. The open box wasn't some throwaway background detail. It was practically screaming at us through the screen. It was giant, waving red flag, one you couldn't unsee once you noticed it. And the more you thought about it, the darker it felt.
First of all, why is this out where children can see and read it? Second of all, where are y'all finding the time to even do these extracurricular activities? Can't be doing it in the car because that means you're leaving your kids in the motel by themselves. And it dang well can't be in the room because y'all have children in there at all times. Now, Stephanie and Drew, let me find out that y'all are literally doing that in the bathroom while the children are there. Yeah. That's what it has to be. That's like what it's giving because, they're in there. Not saying that they can't do that, but it's the fact that they're doing it clearly around the children, like very, very clearly. Don't nobody watch their kids, so they're either outside of the motel with the kids still inside, or they're in the bathroom with the kids outside the room.
And if you thought that was bad, buckle up because this is the part that had people actually shivering. Some viewers tried to rationalize it, saying maybe it only happens during school hours when the older kids are away. But then you stop yourself. Wait, the toddlers and the baby, they're always there. Always. So what does that mean? Are they leaving the littlest ones unattended so they can sneak into the bedroom for a few minutes? Or, and this is the thought that makes your stomach flip, are they doing it at night with their children right there in the same room, just a few feet away, pretending everything is normal while chaos unfolds in the dark? Picture this with me for a second. You're a preteen, lying awake in the dark, no walls, no doors, no privacy, and suddenly you hear things. Things no child should ever have to process. Sounds that stick in your brain like a scar. It's chilling even to imagine, let alone to actually live through.
Girl, when do y'all find the time? I guess when the kids are at school, right? When the kids are at school, then you're like, oh, let's go hunch. And that's, because that's the last thing that y'all need to be doing, especially in the situation that y'all are in. And then somebody else was like, well, because you can't go out in the car, leave the kids unattended. But I mean, that's what, you always got the older ones sitting there watching the younger ones. So where? In the bathroom? In the bathroom, Stephanie? Do you look over your videos before you post them? I'm just curious. Because make it make sense.
And here's where it gets even worse. This wasn't the first time. This isn't a one-off accident. No. Trojan boxes have popped up multiple times in Stephanie's videos, even during holiday breaks when the kids were trapped inside that motel room 24/7. Which raises even darker questions. Were the kids right there the entire time? Were they told to tune it out, to act like it wasn't happening? Or were they slowly being forced to normalize it as just another part of their life? Either way, the picture it paints is not just unsettling, it is horrifying. The internet did not stay quiet. Oh no, besties. This is where people started pulling out receipts and piecing everything together like detectives on overdrive. The baby being placed in a dog bed just so Drew and Stephanie could have the bed to themselves? I was literally speechless. And then Stephanie on her subscription channel casually admits that Drew has to watch explicit videos before he can even be intimate with her. I'm sorry, what?
Stephanie, I ain't even gonna bring up. I don't even want to know why you got that big ass box of condoms up there in the bathroom. You just trifling. You just don't even take a look around. You just be posting videos. But I know you fucking lying. You ain't got this baby a dog bed. Is this a doggy bed for like your dog when your dog sleep? Lord, I don't know if it look like it. But you mean that can't be the most practical. It can't be more practical than a pack and play that you can fold up and roll on and play and sleep in. I'm totally convinced you ain't got no brain cells, not one.
And instantly the next thought hits you like a truck. Where are those videos being played? In that same one-room motel? On the very same devices the kids probably use to watch cartoons or do schoolwork, with the children right there in the background. Tell me that doesn't send chills down your spine. It makes you stop and wonder, are Stephanie and Drew even thinking about the long-term impact on their kids? Or are they so wrapped up in their own chaos that the children's well-being has become nothing more than an afterthought? Because either way, the consequences are terrifying. It's honestly heartbreaking when you really let it sink in, besties. These kids are not just growing up broke or struggling with instability. No, it's so much heavier than that. They're growing up in an environment where adult boundaries don't even seem to exist. Imagine being surrounded by grown-up things you shouldn't even know about, with no walls, with no doors, no safety net to keep you separate from the chaos. That's their normal. And I can't be the only one sitting here thinking this is terrifying. Like, how do you have time for Trojan boxes on the bathroom counter, confessions about subscription content, or Drew's little habits, but somehow your kids don't even have proper beds, clean clothes, or a shred of basic instability?
She loves her kids. She's a good mom. And I hate when people are like, well, she can't, whatever. She can afford to take her kids to the hospital or to the doctor. She doesn't want to. She cares more about her appearance. She's very vain. She tries to put up a little frumpy dumpy facade that I don't really care. My things are everywhere, but she does care. If she's getting a cyst removed that's really not causing her pain, It's just impacting her appearance. Let's be honest. That's all she cares about. She even posted that video saying that she's famous, she's a content creator, that's all she cares about. This is her living the dream, and that she doesn't have to get any kind of job. She's living the life. She is fighting for attention, getting it from everybody but Drew, and she's living the dream. Make that make sense. But go ahead and follow me for more videos like this, because I do post regularly. Bye.
The priorities are so upside down, it makes my head spin. And the saddest, most gut-wrenching part is that these kids, the ones who had no choice in any of this, are the ones paying the price for decisions they never asked to be a part of. So now, we're left with one big question. If Stephanie and Drew can't prioritize their children's basic needs today, what happens if another accidental pregnancy comes along tomorrow? Stephanie herself admitted baby Minerva wasn't planned, even claiming they used protection.
I wanted to take a second off my typical content and just kind of like reach out and see if maybe any other pregnant women have dealt with this before. With my first pregnancies, I developed 2 hernias and I got them repaired, but afterwards the doctor was like, the way we repaired it with this mesh or whatever. Heard terrible things about that since then. They told me, don't have any more kids. Well, that's not how God had it planned, okay? I've had my son, who's now a toddler, and he definitely brought that hernia back. And now I'm pregnant again, and I'm 16 weeks along, but I mean, you can almost even start to see the bulge. It is so freaking uncomfortable. And the doctor, basically, I said, my hernia is back. And she was just like, well, there's not really nothing we can do while you're pregnant about that. Just try to wear something tight around your stomach. Brain fog, sorry. Anyway, she said, wear something tight around your stomach for the remainder of your pregnancy. Which, I mean, the stomach's got to grow, too. So that doesn't sound comfortable for either me or the baby. However, pressure on the hernia, it definitely gives it relief. I'm finding it hard to eat as much as I want to. I'm still hungry because when I
Isn't adding up. If history repeats itself, what will life look like for a 6th child in the already unstable situation? And honestly, I don't even know how to process this. Part of me is just shocked. Part of me is heartbroken, and part of me is angry because this isn't just messy internet drama. It's children's lives being shaped by choices that seem selfish and careless. What do you guys think? Because to me, this is one of the wildest and most disturbing things I've ever seen play out online.